Hello everyone and welcome back to Savvy Market, where we help you turn data sets into actionable insights. Well, in this particular tutorial, we're going to be looking at how we can make use of Microsoft Excel and data analysis ToolPak to perform multiple linear regression to measure the influence of independent variables. On a dependent variable, we have to perform the regression analysis. So you can see the question that we have. It says, is there any significant influence of sales and quantity sold on profit margin? In regards to the question given, the independent variables are sales, that is sales variable, and the quantity sold variable, while our dependent variable is profit margin. So now we want to perform the regression analysis to measure the influence and to test whether we can predict the profit margin based on the given sales and the quantity sold. So our null hypothesis is going to be there is no influence, and the alternative hypothesis is that there is a significant influence, that is influence of sales and quantity sold on profit margin. And you know that the regression analysis is the most appropriate analysis for this particular question that we have, but furthermore we need to prove it by performing the linearity and the normality test. So far, I think in our previous tutorials, I have shown you that the variable profit margin and quantity sold and sales variable as well, some of them are near normal, and then we have some that are normal, that has normal distribution. So we don't need to go over that anymore. If you can remember, you will know that we have shown that with the help of the histogram, if you can go back to previous lessons like the t-test analysis of variance, the correlation analysis for relationship, and so on. So I want to show you the linearity between sales and profit margin, and also quantity sold and profit margin. So for this, I'm going to select the sales variable. So I've selected the sales variable. So I would go ahead and press the control and or the command key on my keyboard, and then select the profit margin as well, and then I would proceed to the insert tab and then go over to where I have scatter, because I want to plot a scatter plot, and then I would click on this. So here you can see that I've been able to plot a scatter plot. So the next thing you want to do is to add a trend line, and to add a trend line you just simply right click on your mouse and then you select add trend line, and then you can go ahead and give your chart a title. For me, I titled it as profit margin versus sales. So here you can see that we have our result for linearity between profit margin and sales, and you can see that there is a positive linearity between profit margin and the sales data, because we can see that the linear trend line is going lower to upper. So moving forward, we want to now plot the scatter plot between quantity sold and profit margin. So to do that, you select the quantity sold variable, and then you hold your control or command key on your keyboard, and then you select the profit margin variable as well. Then you head over to the insert tab, and here we want to select scatter because we want to plot a scatter plot for quantity sold and profit margin. So we select this, and as you can see, we have a scatter plot between quantity sold and profit margin. And if you want to add a trend line, or rather you have to add a trend line for linearity purpose, then you right click on your mouse and then select add trend line. So you can see the result we have. The trend line is also going from lower to upper, which indicates that there is a positive linearity between profit margin and quantity sold. So the relevant assumptions to perform a regression analysis based on the given data is proved and is accepted. So now we can proceed to perform the regression analysis. And for this, the purpose of this analysis, I'm going to have significance level as 0.1. So here I'll have, significance level as 0.1. So I'm just going to make this bold real quick. So that is our significance level. Now, so far I have shown you performing any hypothesis testing or statistical test based on the widely used significance level, but in this case we are going to be using a different significance level as 0.1, and that is the significance level of 10%. So we are now 90% confident that there might be an influence of sales and quantity sold on profit margin. That is on the independent variables on the dependent variable. So let's perform the regression analysis. So we'll now proceed to the data tab. That is if you want to perform the regression analysis. So you proceed to the data tab, and then you click on data analysis, and then you search for regression, and then when you see it, you click OK. So the first thing that you would see is to input the Y range, and the Y range is the dependent variable. So we have to provide the range of profit margin because profit margin is our dependent variable. So we'll select the profit margin from the first value to the last value, and we go on to the next one, which is input the X range. So the X indicates our independent variables, that is sales and quantity sold. So we'll go ahead and select sales and quantity sold and select them all the way through, like yes, to the last value. So that is our input X range. So the next thing you'll do is to check the labels option. When you have labels, you check it. The next thing is to check the confidence level option, so that we can set our confidence level. So if you check the confidence level option, then you go ahead and input the confidence level as 90% because our significance level is 0.1 or 10%. So now we want to select the output range option. That is where you want your result to be. That is a cell where you want Excel to provide your result in. So assuming we want to place it at M4, so we click on the M4 cell, and then when you do that, you just hit OK. So we have our regression analysis results in front of us. So let's check the results one by one. At first, you can see the value of the results, R squared. I think you remember what R squared means. So the R squared actually defines the explanatory power of the independent variables for the dependent variable. The R squared given here, as you can see, is 0.42, which means or indicates that 42% change in the dependent variable. Profit margin happens because of the influence or impact of the independent variable, which is sales and quantity sold together. We can say that the R square is moderate, around 0.5 or 50%. So over here we have the ANOVA table, and here you can see the significance level is 0.00. So the significance level in this case indicates that there might be at least one independent variable that significantly influences the dependent variable. In simple words, in this particular case, we got two independent variables, that is sales and then the quantity sold variable. So by checking the significance level of the table ANOVA, it is actually telling us that among all the independent variable, we have at least one independent variable significantly influencing the dependent variable. But this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is this particular table, and that is this table over here, which has the p-values. Here you can see the p-values of both sales and quantity sold are both 0.00, which is lower than our significance level of 0.1. So the p-value is less than significance level 0.1. We can make decision on rejecting the null hypothesis and accepting the alternative hypothesis. So the decision we made, which is there is a significant influence of independent variables like sales and quantity sold on the dependent variable profit margin. What type of influence the sales and quantity sold have on the profit margin? For this, we have to check these coefficients that we have here. You can see that for both variables of sales and quantity sold, the coefficient is positive. From this, we can conclude that the influence is positive. That means that because of the influence of sales and quantity sold, the profit rises, or rather the profit margin rises. In other words, for the increase in sales and quantity sold, the profit margin increases. So let's go ahead and check the values. At first, you can see the coefficient for the sales, the variable sales is 0.0188%. So that means that if you increase the sales by $1 US, the profit margin will increase by 0.0188%. And you can also see the coefficient of the quantity sold. In this case, it's 0.3178%. It indicates that if you increase the quantity sold by 1 unit, the profit margin will also increase by 0.3178%. So finally, you can say that both variables significantly influences our dependent variable profit margin, and that the influence is positive. So we have to increase the sales and quantity sold to increase the profit margin for this particular data. So now let's make the equation to predict the profit margin based on the given sales and quantity sold value. For this, we want to make the equation here as I have done. So I'll just go ahead and explain it and tell you the equations I used. So the equation is going to be y, which is a dependent variable, which is profit margin, equal to intercept plus the first independent variable, which is sales, times the coefficient of the sales. In our case, the value we have as our coefficient of sales is 0.0188%, then plus the second independent variable, which is quantity sold, times the coefficient of the quantity sold, which is 0.3178%. So going further, our intercept is here, which is given as 0.09. Then what you have to do next is to write any hypothetical sale and quantity sold value in this sale, this particular sale under sales, and this particular sale under QS, that's quantity sold. And for this given data, in this place where I have 31%, that is for profit margin, the predicted profit margin will be automatically calculated. So for this, we want to double click on this particular cell that is here. So when you double click on it, you want to introduce the equal sign. Then the next thing you do is to select the particular cell where you have the intercept, that is the Q that is the O25. So you select that particular cell and then you provide a plus sign, as you can see. Then you open a bracket, and then you want to select this particular cell, that is the this is cell Q25. So you want to select this
blank cell in which we are going to.
The next thing is to provide a multiplication sign. Then we select the coefficient for the sales variable, and then we close the brackets. Then we provide a plus sign, and then we select this cell that has the quantity sold. Then we provide another multiplication sign, and then lastly we provide the coefficient for the quantity sold variable, and then we hit the we close our bracket and then we hit enter. So what we have here is, assuming we have sales that is 510 and then we have quantity sold of 39 units. But if you go ahead and change this to something else, maybe let's say 400. Let's say we have 400 here, and here you have 39%. What you are going to have is a profit margin of 29%. So this is how you can use Microsoft Excel for performing regression analysis. So we've come to the end of this particular tutorial and hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and please do not forget to subscribe. If you know anyone that this video will be helpful to, please do well to share it to them. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.